Consider the formula given. Which of the following conclusions cannot be drawn from this formula? To solve this question, it can be helpful to have the equation written both in terms of C, which is already given to us, and in terms of D. To write it in terms of D, we'll have to use opposite operations to rearrange. So we'll have to add D to both sides. These will cancel. C plus D is equal to 10. Then we'll need to subtract C from both sides, leaving us with D is equal to 10 minus C. Now let's go through our answer choices. A says if C is greater than 10, D is negative. Well, let's see what happens when C is equal to 10. That would give us 0. So if we are going greater than 10 with our values of C, is that going to make D perpetually positive or perpetually negative? Because 0 is that tipping point between positive and negative numbers. Let's try one number greater than 10, which would be 11. That will give us negative 1. So we know that the greater C becomes greater than 10, D is going to continue to be negative. So this could be a true statement. However, be careful. We are trying to find a false statement. A false statement is going to be our correct answer. So answer choice A is not it. Answer choice B says if D is greater than negative 10, C is positive. So we're going to switch over to our other equation. If D is greater than negative 10, let's see what happens when D is negative 10. C is equal to 10 minus negative 10. Minus a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. So that will give us C is equal to 10 plus 10 is 20. So if D is greater than negative 10, C is going to be positive. That's not always going to be true. The only reason this turned out positive is because of the minus a negative. But if we are trying to have numbers be greater than negative 10, all positive numbers are greater than negative 10. If we were to plug in C equals 10 minus 12, 12 is a positive number. That is a number greater than negative 10, but when we do that subtraction, C will be negative. It will be negative 2. So B is incorrect, which makes it our correct answer because this conclusion cannot be drawn. At that point, you can mark B and move on with the rest of the test, but for the sake of the video, I'll show you why C and D are incorrect. C says if C is less than negative 10, D is positive. Well, let's take a look at our second equation and plug in negative 10 for C. And we'll have a similar issue, I think, to answer choice B. We'll have 10 minus negative 10. In this case, though, we are going to be less than negative 10. So we are going to be always putting in negative numbers. We will never put in a positive number. And so we'll always have this this phenomenon of minus a negative will always become adding a positive. And so we'll always get a positive number. So that makes C a correct statement, but an incorrect answer. And finally, answer choice D. If D is greater than 10, C is negative. This is the same wording as answer choice A with the variables switched. Normally, that means we should treat it as an independent statement, but in this case, these equations are so similar that if we were to switch the variables, they would be identical to one another. So if answer choice A was a true statement, that means answer choice D is also going to be a true statement. And in this case, when we're looking for a false statement, that means D is incorrect and B is our correct answer.